Welcome to Both Sides Sometimes Called, myself, Ashley, and Ed. Good evening, Ed.
Good evening, Ash. How's things this evening?
Very good. It's nice and sunny, and I'm drinking coffee. And what are you drinking? You're probably drinking
Uh,
something, Ollie.
I've actually got tea today because it's a school night, so yeah, no wine tonight.
Oh, that is true, actually, yeah. And this evening we are joined by a former guest and our friend, the unofficial third bow tie, Mr. Mr. Sylvester. Right, James, how are you doing?
I am splendid. Next time I do one of these, I'm going to actually wear one of my many bow ties,
Please remember to
because I'm
wear a
so
response.
honored by that label. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be back.
You know when you do that, James, don't do a Mike Reed on us. Do wear other clothes as well.
No, no, it's an ambition in life, and you'll probably know this one, guy. We have similar tastes. It's the old story of Spike Milligan and Peter Sellers. Stop me if you know where I'm going with this, but one day, one night, Spike Milligan was awoken, as the story goes. I don't know how much of this is apocryphal, but he was awoken by a tremendous banging, as they say, on his front door. He goes downstairs in nightgown, whatever else he had on, opens the door. Peter Sellers is standing before him in a bowler hat, cuffs, an umbrella, and nothing else, and says, "My God, man, do you know a good tailor? This is an emergency." One day, one of my acquaintances will get such a visit from me. Don't know when or who.
Love it, James. Love it. Well, this evening, gents, we are talking about Octopussy, the 1983 classic, the Battle of the
Yes,
Bonds, Roger versus Sean that year.
the
Not really
Battle of
a
the
battle.
Bonds.
It was inevitable Roger was going to win that. Come on now. Oh, certainly in '83 anyway, because my overriding image of Sean Connery in Never Say Never Again is in some dungarees. But anyway, that's a good thing.
Geez, well, that's again dungarees and nothing else.
Yeah,
It possibly. The guy was considered the sexiest man alive well into his 60s, wasn't he? So it's not my place to criticize, but I never thought that the most flattering look on him. But
quite.
maybe I'm wrong.
But back to Roger.
Hmm.
Roger, this is possibly my favorite Bond film. I say possibly because like anything, sometimes you sway between films a little bit, don't you? Somewhere between here and Live and Let Die somewhere, which is Roger again, so he's winning either way. But yeah, Ed, you've watched it recently because of your homework. I don't need to have watched it because I've watched it far too many times. And James just knows it. So Ed, starting with you, my friend. What you watched it again this week?
I watched it a few weeks ago, and I watched the some edited highlights today. Yeah, stands up as for me one of the very very best Bond films. It's got everything that I love about James Bond, the film series. In it, it's got Roger Moore as Bond. For me, can't get any better than Roger Moore. It's action adventure, but it's incredibly silly as well. Um, you've got the beautiful bits shot in the Lake Palaces at Udaipur, India, probably the most beautiful Bonds ever looked. You've got the plot with the Fabergé egg that he does that amazing magic trick with that we can't quite work out how in the
Oh,
in the auction room. Yeah, you've got Louis Jordan as the villain. You've got Maud Adams making her second or perhaps third appearance in a Bond film. You've got basically like everything for me that makes Bond great is in that film. Definitely one of the best.
Ed, you talk about that Fabergé egg. I don't know what you're on about. That is faultless. It was never.
Seamless transition.
Yeah, yeah. It's like they never thought VHS or DVDs would ever. Well, they wouldn't have thought DVDs, but VHS would ever existed. Couldn't see that switch, could we? Perfect.
Oh dear. They were hoping for bums on seats, weren't they? They're going to get people coming back to see the film again 3, 4 times just to see how he does that switch.
Yeah, just to see the switch. It's Roger because Roger can do anything.
Against you, sir. No more than 450.
Jim?
The bid is £450,000.
Oh, there is some
Absolutely.
classic scenes in this one as well, isn't there? Let's be honest. Let's start back at the beginning there, where we got another. Is it 009 gets killed again. Well, another
Oh,
009 is probably
009.
yeah. He's that if you've had it, if you're 009, I think that about 3 or 4 of them have died during the Bond series.
Well, do you know what I mean? The particularly in Roger's era, the other double O's who are mentioned, you might get a brief cameo or a few seconds buried under ice or whatever. But if there's another double O in a film, they're dead. And 009, I think, is probably, including Die Another Day, the best time they've ever brought another double O agent, including, for that matter, including GoldenEye. It's a small cameo. It's wordless. There's no dialogue. It's so beautifully done. It's so beautifully done. It's really, it's anxiety inducing. You don't know who the hell this guy is, but you care about him straight away. And I think that's the mastery of filmmaking. You just see this clown running away, the chase through the woods, no dialogue at all done through sound effects of the cracked twig, the burst of the balloon. It's absolutely masterfully done. I adore that sequence.
Guests have arrived, Ambassador.
We should go, my dear.
Can't say it's the most well-guarded British embassy in I've ever seen in my life. Where a guy in an extremely loud clown costume can just blunder into the grounds.
Yeah.
But putting that to one side, I think it's a tremendously well done opening. Well, say opening. It's not the Astrojet sequence, but there's the start to the film proper. It's beautiful. I love it.
So pre-title sequence. I mean, filler, please.
You know what? It's wonderful. I mean, there's not many, I suppose. I suppose there's probably more than I think there are. Pre-credit sequences that are completely divorced from the main plot, and this is just Roger having fun. But it's so good to see Bond just on a job. He's just undercover. He's just gone in. He's there to blow up this plane or blow up this this air base, whatever it is. It's a few minutes. It's over and done with, and it's gorgeous. I believe the Astra jet sequence. And again, this is probably preaching to the converted. I believe, you correct me if I'm wrong, it was planned for Moonraker, and they couldn't make it work out. So they pulled it out and revamped it for Octopussy.
Let's go back a step further. Roger. So they've sent him on this mission, and they thought, right, Roger's not very good at disguises. We'll have to send him on a mission where the bad guy looks exactly like him. We'll just put a tash on him. Literally, just put a tash on.
Continua.
Well, it's a small world. You're a Toro too.
Interrogación. Sí, coronel. Métanlo al camión.
And that was it. And he went in there. Then he got caught, and then it's yeah. How we gonna? So then obviously the girl comes along, flashes a leg. Roger sort of does a little eyebrow raise, as in, look at them, look at the legs, and pulls the parachute. I mean, it's real life stuff. It's really hard edging, cutting stuff. It's
Yeah.
I don't know what Daniel Craig's on about. They were doing hard edge stuff a long time before.
Oh yeah, and pulling his escape literally out of a horse's arse, which I think is a genius move.
The Astro Star, going back to that though, have you seen it? I mean, slowed down when it goes through the hangar, because it was on
Yeah.
the hangar scene, yeah, goes through the hangar, doesn't it, on its side?
Mhm.
Roger was actually in it on a pole. Apparently, he was actually on it. I mean, I know he's famous
Yeah.
for doing his own stunts, but he did sit in it on a pole, and they put it on the top of a Jaguar car, didn't they?
Yeah, certain echoes of Jaws 2 there, weren't there? Where we'll have a casting shot, and it's quite obviously a shark/jet on a pole that some poor grip has probably
Yeah.
got running furiously off screen. But you don't notice that, and unless you're geeks like us and you go looking for that kind of stuff.
Although,
But
yeah,
it's so good.
really great use of miniatures in it though, because I mean,
Oh yeah.
the hangar they went through was real, but being blown up afterwards was all miniatures, and a lot of the helicopters, and, a lot of the other stuff there was miniatures. You wouldn't know. That was good.
No.
That was good. So we went off on a bit of a tangent. We should just go through scene by scene of Octopussy.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
What comes next? So we did that. We did post pre-title sequence. Oops.
Yeah.
And
then Fabergé comes back to M, doesn't it?
Yes,
it does. Are we going to mention the the very brief new addition to the Bond family?
Well, I must say you become more beautiful every day.
I am over here.
Oh, of course you are.
And this is Miss Penelope Smallbone, my new assistant.
Miss Smallbone. What can I say, Moneypenny? Except that she is as attractive and as charming.
As I used to be?
I didn't say that.
Oh, you're such a flatterer, James.
Oh, Moneypenny, you know there never has been, and there never will be anybody but you.
So you've told me.
Welcome to Universal Exports.
Take it, dear. That's all you'll ever get from him.
Thank you, Commander Bond.
You know me?
Miss Moneypenny described you.
In nauseating detail.
Really? I can see you're going to fit in here very nicely.
Oh yes.
I mean, God bless her. I mean, you can imagine where a casting agent, I forget the actress's name, and she's appalling of me, but you can imagine thinking, oh wow, this is a big break. I'm going to be in movie after movie after movie. This is going to be wonderful. And no, you're in for 30 seconds for some throwaway gags where you're lusting after a man probably 8 times your age at that point, and dearie me. Okay, yes. I don't know about you. It kind of felt slightly insulting to Lois Maxwell to have this new person in there in the room with her. I mean, if you're recasting the part of Moneypenny, I can understand that. It happens if you want to maintain the facade of Bond being of a certain age. Moneypenny, basically, Lois Maxwell and Roger were similar ages and were mates. I can understand the point of recasting to a degree, but to actually have somebody else in there saying, well, do you know what? You're not young and sexy anymore. We're going to stick this young girl in here. And she's going to be the object of Bond's fantasies now. And you're just going to be there for a little bit of banter. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Roger's actually even older than you, so it's a bit weird, but yeah, we're going to go for it. So, I mean,
but I do like, particularly, I mean, it's one of the drawbacks of the Roger films is that the Moneypenny dialogue and the back and forth between them was greatly reduced for a lot of those movies. But for Your Eyes Only and Octopussy, you can see, look, it's nice and warm again. They have a good little bit of a chat together, and it's nice and fun and warm-hearted. So that was one of the many real treats of this movie. That you got to see that little bit of a flavour, and even if it is only a couple of minutes here and there, the Bond Moneypenny stuff is so important to the franchise. It's so good, and it was nice to see that given a bit of respect again, albeit with this bizarrely inserted character that serves no real purpose, but other than to say we want to bring some young sexy people in.
Absolutely. Hey, now should we go through some facts, Ed? I like my facts, don't I?
Go on, go through your facts.
Well, apart from the fact that Maud Adams doesn't, I'll have to look her up, but no, they're in my head. Maud Adams, she doesn't appear, but bearing in mind the film's called Octopussy, she doesn't appear for about 1 hour, 9 minutes into it. That's one of our facts that we like, Ed. It's only a 2 hour something film, isn't it? So it's halfway through. So we like those ones. What else should we say? Well, VJ, the tennis player, he doesn't like snakes, which was a bit ironic because and I think he does allude to it. He goes, I should have chosen a different job because he was when he met Bond, they kind of broke the fourth wall, didn't they? And played the tune.
It's a charming tune. You do take English money?
Only gold sovereigns. Please. I'm Vijay, Special Expediter, Universal Exports. Welcome to India, Commander Bond.
Thank you. Call me James.
No problem.
Where's Sadruddin?
Over here, waiting in the taxi.
VJ the Snake Charmer.
They did. I mean, what do we think about that? I mean, I know last time we did one of these, when I did one of these with you, it was on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and you had the whole fourth wall breaking other fella remark. I suppose this is maybe the only other overt time the series has possibly gone to that length. I have to admit, I don't mind this one. I can think of any number of in-universe excuses as to why a particular film might, or why a particular tune might have been played. How do you guys feel about that?
Again, it works on a couple of levels. It's like it's a little nod and wink to the audience because we know, it could be something Roger suggested himself. But like you said, in universe, that could just be a piece of music that's a bit of Indian music, a bit of classical music that's floating around. So
yeah,
it doesn't really matter. It's just a nice little typical nod and a wink, knowing nod and wink to the audience, which Roger does all the time anyway. So it doesn't bother me one little bit.
Good.
It doesn't bother me, but just because actually, if anything, I just think it's ace. But I just love the way that you always try to find a nice way of putting it. That could just be a bit of classical modern Indian music. No, it's a bloody Bond theme tune, Ed. Well, I was just thinking about other facts from whilst they're in India. Oh well, yeah. Afterwards, after Bond wins all the money off Kamal Khan, and then he puts it in his pocket, and then they drive off, don't they? And they get followed, and then they have a fight on the tuk-tuks. And during the fight, they have to split, don't they? Because a guy comes through on a bike. Do you ever remember that bit? They have to, and they split. That was totally unrehearsed. That was just somebody who was just riding along the road at that time. So it was totally. Yeah,
I can believe that. I imagine filming in rural India at that time would have been very, 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 or urban rural India, I should say, would have been very difficult. People go, I don't care who you are. I need to get home. I need to get to work.
Yeah. Roger in this one is fantastic.
Sit.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Love it.
Sit, hiss off, the Tarzan yell, my word, all of that.
And another one I picked up as well, which is I've never noticed it before, and I've seen Octopussy loads of times, but on that level, right at the very, very end, where he's in the circus trying to get them to pay attention that there's a bomb there. He's going around the clown saying, as a clown saying there's a bomb there. But then, okay, he takes his wig and his nose off, and he says to the general, "I'm a British secret agent." Like, take his wig and nose off. It's gonna... Oh, of course you are. Yes.
General, there's a bomb in that cannon.
Sure, where else would a bomb be? Great clown bit.
I'm deadly serious. I'm a British agent.
What?
It's fantastic. Did you say as well, Christopher Reeve is in that circus audience as well somewhere?
Yes, he is, isn't he? 'Cause which one of the Supermen was he filming at this? Was it been Superman 3 by that time, I suppose, wouldn't it? There's great pictures of him off set, isn't he? When they're when he's coming in and shared it. And wasn't it also? I'm going back to Peter Sellers again. Wasn't it also this film where Roger made the cameo in Trail of the Pink Panther or something like that, where he is playing Inspector Clouseau under heavy plastic surgery? And that was, I think, also because they were sharing sound stages at the time. I mean, the Pink Panther movies without Sellers are bloody awful, but that last one, I think the inference was Clouseau had heavy plastic surgery and basically looked like Roger Moore, because Roger was on set and he came in and did this couple of hours with them, and it's brilliant. So there was a lot of good films. A lot of films were going on similarly at the time.
I quite like the scene where they have to have dinner. Kamal Khan eats the sheep's eye. That's quite a nice scene in a bizarre way. I'm not sure
It is, isn't it? I don't know. It came out earlier than Temple of Doom, but it is very reminiscent of the Temple of Doom dinner sequence, I suppose, isn't it? Where you're being served something horrible. I don't quite get why they took the souffle away so quickly. That's always been one of my pet peeves, but it's possibly the way my brain works. So he takes a spoon out of it and then it's removed straight away, and they give him a sheep's head. I'll just have the souffle back, please. Thanks.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the great things. I mean, Louis Jourdan gets a lot of, I think, unfair criticism for not being a particularly strong Bond villain. I think he's absolutely wonderful in this. I think that level of charm and elegance, and he and Roger, particularly at that dinner table scene, they're talking about, look, I'm going to torture you to death. I'm going to inject you with all sorts of unpleasant things. I'm going to torture you. I'm going to get what I need to know out of you. And then I'm going to kill you. And he just sat having this conversation over dinner like gentlemen in black tie. And it's just so beautifully done.
Or supposing, for argument's sake, I don't feel like talking.
Well, don't worry. You will. You will.
Let me guess. Thumbscrews and hot coals.
Hardly. We are much more sophisticated than that.
Sodium pentothal.
A bit crude. Very unreliable. We prefer curare with an effective psychedelic compound. Guaranteed results.
But with permanent brain damage.
An unfortunate side effect. Stuffed sheep's head.
It's odd. But when I'm stared at, I seem to lose my appetite.
And everything about Louis Jourdan, all the way through that absolutely famous quote, that you have a nasty habit of surviving, is just delivered so meticulously. I adore it. It isn't just camp. That's the point. It's not just played for laughs. I think there's a lot of tension in that gambling scene in the casino, in the hotel casino. Very reminiscent of Goldfinger in a lot of ways, with Gobinder, crushing the die, like Oddjob would crush the golf ball. But I think when Jordan is there saying, spend the money quickly, Mr. Bond, it's delightfully delivered, and you do think there is a real threat here. This guy's, he's not just a suave gent wandering around cheating at cards or whatever. He is. There's a threat to this chap. I think it's beautifully done, and the way he squirms with embarrassment at Sotheby's when he's in that bidding war with Bond, it's just perfection in the way that. That's just a good actor, and good actors will do marvels with whatever script they're given. I think Jourdan commands every scene he's in. He's magnetic. Your eye is drawn to him straight away. And of the double baddies, I can tell you a couple of funny stories about Steven Berkoff later on, maybe. But I think you got him, and you got the general, and you have Kamal Khan. I just think Khan, for me, all along, he is absolutely the villain of this piece, and it's a beautiful performance. I really enjoy it. What I really like about this, this is my Octopussy's, I suppose, my secret confession, because as I've told you guys before, my favorite Bond is Tim Dalton. I'm very much into the whole cold, hard thriller stuff. I love it. I tell everyone my favorite Bond movie is Casino Royale, and you guys are very wrong about that film, by the way. But I tell everyone that is that's my favorite movie. But actually, Octopus is my favorite Bond, because I think it marries all of those elements really well. Roger's clearly having fun. There's a hell of a lot of humor, but it is juxtaposed perfectly with the darker elements. And there's a shed load of darker elements in this film. We've already mentioned 009, the knife in the back, crawling through the agent must complete his mission before he lets himself die. At the start of that, they actually have the famous crossing that was in so many Cold War films, Spy Who Came In From the Cold and stuff like that, where you go to East Berlin, you're going to cross over, and everybody knows how dangerous that is. That's exemplified at the end when Steven Berkoff's running across the border and gets machine gunned in the back. Even in Roger's performance, where he shoots that soldier, and it's not a kill of a henchman necessarily. This is just a soldier in the train who has come into a conversation at the wrong time, and Roger, very cold for his Bond, turns around and a bullet straight between the eyes, and you see the actual expression of fear on that guy's face. And all of those are played off, and it doesn't at all at any point feel that it's tonally misplaced. The humor and the drama is perfectly matched in this movie. And so I think, for me, while I tell everyone I'm this cold, hard thriller kind of dude, Octopus is my Bond. It's just brilliant.
It's funny you're saying that about the the Cold War bits, but I know Bond was played originally against the backdrop of the Cold War, but it's really, really interesting that in this one, it's almost like reflecting what's happening in the real world, with the sort of the cracks in the Soviet Union starting to appear, and factionalism, where there was usually a united front. So you've got the more moderate, realistic Soviets like Gogol, and then you've got Steven Berkoff's character, who's still a fanatic, and the cracks are appearing, and the whole thing of détente coming up, and the softening of relations between East and West is addressed, which really before the Russians were the bad guys, but now it's sort of looking at it almost from a real world point of view, which Bond I don't think had ever done before.
Crikey, gents, that was deep. I was just thinking about some of Roger's lines. I just love every second of it. I can't think of a bit that I don't enjoy, really. All the way, even towards the end when they're not even towards the end, but I'm just thinking of the comedy moments towards the end. When he basically puts the clown outfit on.
listen there.
And now, for the first time in this country, the death-defying human cannonball. I have the pleasure in presenting to you Francisco de Fairley.
Yeah. Well, I think it gets a lot of criticism. I love that, and I think it perfectly bookends the film with, you've got 009 in that gear being killed. Nobody thought that was overkill or funny. That was really tensely done. And if you're on the run, you're trying to evade capture, and you're in a circus. What are you going to dress up as? Of course, you're going to dress up as a clown. No one's going to stop a clown, are they? The only slight criticism would be, would you have stopped to make your face makeup absolutely perfect and get a little tear running down his face? Perhaps not that much, but I don't have an issue with the clown, and I think Roger plays it so well. He's not playing that for laughs. It's, look, there's a bomb here. There's an atomic bomb. I need to find it. And even though it is funny to see a clown doing this, I think Roger carries that scene so well. I think it works perfectly.
It's remarkable that on top of all of his other, skills, that you can actually do clown makeup in about 30 seconds.
Well, indeed, and that was a good makeup.
Yeah, it's really, really good. But no, Roger, he does actually, he really does excel in that, because, obviously I know it's going to be a part of the music, but the way he acts that scene, it really is tense. So considering that he's been fooling around about 2 or 3 minutes before, as he always does, to then go to, that there's a bomb. I always feel like when I'm watching that, I could always feel like I would feel myself sweating a little bit,
You can, and the first or only time a countdown actually reaches 0. I love it. He gets it out literally the last second. It doesn't stop on 007 or anything high camp like that. It's gone down a second later, which makes the staying to do your tear makeup perhaps a questionable choice. But I love that the countdown actually reaches the end, clicks to 0 right at the last. Yeah, I love that.
Let him go. Quiet, everyone! Quiet!
No, I think I'm with you guys. I don't have anything I dislike about this film. If I'm going to, if I'm feeling down and I want to watch a Bond film, and I'm not, in a gritty, thrillery mood, it's going to be Octopussy every time.
And the music is exceptional on this one as well. I love the music on this. It was probably one of I got, I would say, about 15 Bond soundtracks ish, but this is the one that I really love to listen to, and the title music, All Time High, amazing.
Well, that's an interesting choice. I quite like it as well. I love the actual soundtrack. I think it's one of John Barry's best. I think his 80s Bond soundtracks were some of his best work. But the All Time High gets a lot of criticism for being a little bit dull and pedestrian. And I love Rita Coolidge as a performer. And I heard it was on the David Arnold albums, It's Shaken and Stirred. Jarvis Cocker did a version of All Time High that was a really interesting listen. I personally, it's not particularly inspiring. I don't have a problem with this theme. You clearly enjoy it.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably an element of when this came out, I would have been quite young, and it would have been one of the first Bond films that I'd watched and actually wanted to watch and not been made to watch. As in, here's Goldfinger. Watch this. He's the best Bond. No, he's not. Dad. He's not. But there we are. And so I just got very fond memories of this Bond film. I think it's just that time of my life as well that it just evokes happy memories. But I just can't find anything wrong with this Bond film at all.
You're saying that about the All Time High, the opening, the theme tune. It's not my favourite Bond theme. It's not the worst Bond theme, but it's not my favourite. But in the context of how it's presented, where you've got Bond pulls up at the filling station, the redneck comes out and he goes, "Fill her up, would you?" And then it dissolves into that sax break. It just works.
It does work.
It absolutely works in the context of the film. I mean, as a song in its own right, I don't think I'd listen to it in the same way as I'd listen to Nobody Does It Better or You Know My Name or Live and Let Die. But in the context of the film, absolutely, it's a great theme tune.
I agree, and it's very sing-alongable, if that's a word. I'm going to make it a word. I will, if I hear it, I'll hum along to that one all the way. It's interesting. I believe it's all-time high indirectly that led to Duran Duran getting View to a Kill when they were at a party with somewhere, some showbiz party, and Cubby Broccoli was there, and excuse me, Le Bon or whoever went up to him and said, "When are you going to get some real artists to do your themes?" On the back of this, which is perhaps a little disrespectful, but then musicians sometimes aren't the most respectful of people. I agree with you, Ed. I think for the context of this film and everything this film is about, it works beautifully well. I have no issue with it.
And I'm going to look for the Jarvis Cocker version afterwards because I've never heard it. So
it's really nice. I mean, that whole album is great. Some of them are really quite abstract. I forget who's on it. Chrissy Hine? No, is it Chrissy Hine? No, she's not. I can't even remember now.
I can't remember.
David McAlpine does a good version of Diamonds Are Forever, and it's surprisingly good. There's a good instrumental of OHMSS. Jarvis. It's slower than you'll expect, but I really enjoy Jarvis's. I'm a bit of a Britpop, a bit of a moddy kind of guy. I love pulp. I love Jarvis Cocker in anything, but I think it's a really interesting take on the song. So look it up, have a listen.
Well, gents, I don't think we really need to do this, but I'm going to anyway. So out of 10, how are we going to rate Octopussy?
James, you go first.
You know what? I don't like giving things top marks, but I am giving Octopussy a 10. Tim Dalton is my favourite Bond. I tell everyone Casino Royale is my favourite Bond movie. But if I'm reaching for a Bond film, it's going to be Octopussy. I'm giving it 10. I love it.
10 for me all day long. It's not even a question.
Yeah, I think in sort of filmic interpretations of literary characters, you've got the most accurate and the most entertaining. And whereas Timothy Dalton is probably the most accurate, Roger Moore is the most entertaining. In the same way, sort of Joan Hickson's the most accurate. There is no one, I think, that has played James Bond in more entertainingly than Roger Moore. This film, do you know what? I've always said View to a Kill is my favourite Bond film, but I think with this conversation we've had tonight, View to a Kill may be getting knocked off its perch. Absolute no hesitation at 10 on 10.
Yeah.
Hey, full marks.
Full marks. I wasn't sure where that was going for a second. I was thinking we might have to part our ways there, Ed. I think I would have to sign a contract with James to be the full-time replacement.
I'd be a hopeless replacement, though. No, I think we can. Oh, that's good. That's a good point to agree.
Good. And on that bombshell, it's an all-time high. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Cheerio from me.
All I wanted was a sweet distraction for an hour or two. I never intended to do the things we've done. Funny how it always goes in love. When you don't look, you find. But then we're two of a kind. We move as one.
Distraction for an hour or two. Had no intention to do the things we've done. Funny how it always goes with love. When you don't look, you find. But then we're two of a kind. We move as one. these words before.